Okay, part 2 of my vintage sewing themed junk journal for Junk Journal Junkies. I'm sorry, I thought I was going to go quicker, but I was already 15 minutes in, so let's finish it now in this video. Here's a coffee-dyed copy paper with some stamps on it from Graphic 45. Actually, it's not copy paper, it's an envelope that I coffee-dyed. And it has some washi tape on this side. There's some journaling tags inside. This one I stamped. And then this is a old time card that our church secretary actually used. They're not like those yellow cardstock ones. It's white and it has a different texture to it, but she used pencil when she actually used these. And so I erased her name off the top, but I left her writing. If whoever gets this can erase the pencil if they want, but there's still room for journaling. And she did her tallying at the end of the week in ink on the back, so I covered that up with some graph paper, so that can be journaled on. Here's some stamping done with Stampin' Up! Roller stamp. And then here is a paper clip I made with a banner of fabric and a little piece of the eyelet fabric and a button stitched on. And this is a piece of scrapbook paper that looks like a package of snaps. I think I'll probably add some more paper clips to the book. I'm not sure how many are in here right now, but I did want to add some more. Just some things stitched on here as a little tuck spot, and another. This is from that basic gray Lucille paper. This is another roller stamp from Stampin' Up! As you can tell, it's a little wobbly. And then I stamped this stamp there. Here's from the Singer Sewing Machine book. Some more stamps. There's the flap of the envelope, and I glued on one of those doily cutouts and a button. Now this is an old pack of hooks and eyes that I actually used. I used to sew my clothes, my kids' clothes, and so I actually used this. It's probably from the 80s, but I just thought it added some interest. I sewed it on as a little tuck spot. And there's a pocket, a tag, and one of those little wooden spool tops. This has a little journaling card. There's the other end of that ticket that I got from the internet, and another one of those bookmarks. This one has the coffee dyed eyelet fabric that I just folded around the edge of the paper and then zigzag stitched it on for some interest and texture. Here's the next signature. It has a piece from Graphic 45 Couture? No, whatever. I can't remember what line that was, but there's a ribbon, pink ribbon stitched down here, and some rickrack. There's a tag in here, another piece of the doily, and a little Prima flower, and a little brass sewing machine. There's well, that one needs a button sewn on, or glued on it too. I stamped on this journaling spot, and that says things to do. This is one of those little spool, yarn cards that I printed from the internet, and I stitched it on in 4 little points, so it's a tuck spot for a tag. There's a piece of that twill trim that's on the binding. This is a piece of black and white button paper, and I punched the holes, edge punched holes in it. It's a I forgot the name of that company. It's not K and Company. Case, I don't know. But anyway, I punched it with an edge punch. It's one of those cards, and a cutout from the Theodosia square paper. There's some tickets that are advertising silks and velvets that you can sew with, and a card. This is a piece of Tim Holtz paper with a lot of vintage sewing supplies, and I glued on a piece of coffee dyed lined paper. And here is a piece of that same paper and a banner and one of the yarn cards stitched on. This is another piece of Tim Holtz paper with a dress pattern illustration on it, and it's stitched to, or it's glued to a coin envelope, and there's a tag that I got from the internet. Put a little tab up here. This is from that basic gray Lucille paper. It says, "May your bobbin always be full." There's a doily and a yarn card and another internet tag. This is another piece of that 6x6 button paper, and I glued this larger tag to it. I think it's a 4x6 journaling card. This is an old pack of needles. I left the needles in it. I taped it shut and then glued it to this with this ribbon, or this trim behind it. This has a piece of beige lace. I think it's a hem lace, I'm not sure. This is a journaling spot that I stamped and cut out and glued on. There's another one. Some washi tape. Journaling card. This one has coffee dyed muslin that I tore and then zigzag stitched it, wrapped it around the edge of the page and zigzag stitched it. Some stamps. 4th signature. This I printed from the internet and then rubbed distress ink on it. There's some lace behind it. There's the final tab. So 2 out of 4 buttons I did glue on. I will make sure I glue on the other 2 buttons. There's a stamp here. This is a tuck spot. I stitched on some eyelet trim here. There's an envelope flap with a button stitched on it. This one is from the Singer Sewing Book, but you can actually journal on this page. There's a trim stitched to it, and then this is just paper that's edge punched. This is to figure out your figure type. Here's the gingham paper, and here is another of the embossed cards. I think I left 2 of the embossed cards up on my desk because they're going to go in this pocket, and I had just glued the pocket on today and I didn't put the cards in, but they'll be right in the front pocket. So there's a button there on those 2 banners. Here's another paper clip with a paper banner on it, and it has a flat back plastic spool that I glued on it. Here's a coffee dyed library pocket with a little piece of Tim Holtz paper again with the vintage sewing notions, which is appropriate because there's a picture of sewing notions up there. A couple of journaling cards in there. Copy paper with stamps. I wanted to point out the tags that I made, that I cut out, that one and this one. These came from the internet, but I took a plain sheet of white reinforcements and I rubbed distress ink all over it, and then I took a background stamp with dictionary text on it and stamped just to give interest. And those are the reinforcements that I used on the tags that I cut out from the internet. Here's the center and some more old Stampin' Up! Stamps there. This is from the internet. I glued it on as a pocket, and it was too narrow for a shipping tag, so I just put this 7 Gypsies ticket in there. There's a tab. Here's another couple of banners cut from the fabric, and I stitched that down there. There's some stamping. And then one of the doily cut aparts and a prima flower, a button, and some little pieces of ribbon. Washi tape to decorate this page. Here's an envelope, and it has the Tim Holtz paper that looks like a pattern instruction. There's a journaling card on there that I stamped. I stamped these 2 journaling spots, and then this stamp that says be your own kind of beautiful. Stamped this journaling spot, treasure the moment. Stamped this ticket, cut it out, and stitched it on there. These are stamps. And that's the last page. And there's a pocket on the back. So, I'm glad it's finished. I had a great time making it. And I am most anxious to find out who I'll be sending it to and whose I will be receiving. This was a fun swap. Thanks a lot, Yvonne White, for hosting it. And we don't find out who our partner is until early September, I believe. So I'll just put this in a safe spot and wait and be ready to send it out. So I hope you enjoyed seeing it, and I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you.